All right, let's see if I'm working now. Sorry about that. I just talked for 5 minutes with nothing. There we go. Okay. It helps to have the setting on the right button when you're using a different microphone. So, hello, welcome. I'm so glad that you're joining me. Thanks for hanging out while we had those little glitches in our sound. So, today's video is all about quilting tips and tricks, and we're specifically going to be focusing on the 1/4 inch seam allowance for your piecing. So, I'm going to show you exactly how I get my 1/4 inch seams and some tools that help me with that. One of those being the Seam So Easy guide. If you are on our YouTube channel, you have seen this video, which was posted probably year and a half, 2 years ago. So go back and watch that video. But this video is going to help you be able to use it even easier. So if you're just joining me, welcome. Thanks so much for joining me. Please leave me a comment below and tell me how your day's going, what's going on in your world, what you're working on today. I'd love to know what's going on. And we're streaming on both Facebook and YouTube. So if you're on either of those platforms, you can comment in the comments below. Share this video, because the more you share, the more people we can reach and help with these quilting tips and tricks. So thank you so much. All right, without any more further ado, let's change the camera view so you can see what I'm working on over here. Okay, so to get your 1/4 inch seam, now it can be very difficult, right? There's so many different feet that come with your sewing machine, so many different tools out there, and I'm going to show you what I use. Let me move this up just a touch. All right. So if you've seen any of our videos in the past, you see that we have used this Seam So Easy flower. It's designed by Lori Holt. Riley Blake Designs has it, and we sell it in our shop as well. We have the jade color, which is a beautiful one. I love that one. But this is the one you've probably seen in past videos. Now, in that video, I showed you how to cut out the center and how to put it on your machine, so that you can get your 1/4 inch seam. Now, they've made it even easier because they don't even have that piece in the center that you need to cut out. So you were able to use that center to help line it up with your needle on the machine, but it's not necessary. So what I do is just get this opening over the needle plate, which is this silver part here where the feed dogs are. The feed dogs are those little grippy things that move up and down as you're sewing. So you don't want that, the Seam So Easy guide, to sit on that, but just on your machine bed. And my table's being a little funky there. There we go. So then I'm just going to lower my needle and line up the center line of that Seam So Easy guide with my needle. And then I'm going to back it up and just line up the cutout with the needle foot somewhere, wherever is a straight line, so that you can see that the Seam So Easy guide is perpendicular. And then it comes with these little sticky things, kind of like those little sticky things that come on the back of your credit card when you get a new card. And you can just stick those to the bed of your machine. Now, yes, your bobbin is covered. So what do? Well, you're just going to have to unstick it, take it off to get to your bobbin, do what you need to in your bobbin, and then just line it back up. And if you have any markings on your machine, like I have a 1/4 inch marking on my machine where I can line that line up with the line of the 1/4 inch that's already marked on my machine. So that really helps me get this in alignment. There's also a line right here in the center that I can line it up with. So that really helps get it all squared away so that you can use this for your 1/4 inch seam. So I would just put my fabric, and I have just some scraps from some borders that I was using. So let me just take some of that off, maybe. Okay. Fix my thread here. So I would line up my pieces So the raw edges were together, and I would line that raw edge up with the edge of that 1/4 inch seam line, okay? And then you would sew that down. Now, one thing to be careful of is that as your fabric gets past that 1/4 inch line, that you don't let go of your fabric and let it shift over or scoot over some way where you're going to sew a little curve into your piecing instead of keeping it in that straight line. So hold your fabric until it gets all the way through the needle, then you can let go. And this is a great way to use this tool with chain piecing, so you can just keep going and get all of your piecing done at the same time. So that's how you use that. You can use it to do your half square triangles, and you would just line up the point of your half square triangle with that center line, or your flying geese, whatever it is, or even using it to make your binding strips. So I just put the point of my fabric on that line and let it sew all the way through. That way you don't even have to mark your fabric if you're going to do half square triangles or something like that where you have to sew on a diagonal. You can skip that step of marking and just be able to go right to sewing. So that makes it super easy. All right, so we do carry these in our shop. They're $14 for this guide, and it comes pre-cut already, and it has 4 little stickies. So I only use 2 at a time, and then when I need to replace it, because they do get kind of linty or thready, and then they don't want to stick anymore, then I'll just either use some washi tape to tape it down to my machine, or a double-sided sticky tape, which kind of makes a mess, but it works. I have some on here right now that I need to replace, but either way, to get it on there and something that's not going to damage the bed of your machine. So that is one way to get your 1/4 inch seam allowance. Another way is with your 1/4 inch foot. And I thought I had one over here. Let me go grab that really quick. It's probably in my bucket of tools here. Yep, here it is. Okay, so right now I have my walking foot on my machine, which is super handy when you're doing t-shirt quilts or other heavy duty type quilts, like I was doing a baby clothes quilt right now. And so I needed that walking foot to help me, but it did help to have some kind of a guide because the edge of my foot is definitely not a 1/4 inch. So to double check that you have your 1/4 inch, there are tools out there that you can use, that you can put your needle down into the ruler and be able to double check that you have a 1/4 inch seam. I don't have one of those fancy tools myself, so I just use one of my acrylic rulers and line up my 1/4 inch line of my ruler with my needle, and then I can place whatever it is that I'm going to use. Say you don't have one of those fancy tools and you want to use something right now. You can take a stack of Post-it notes and line that up and stick it to the bed of your machine. And that way you can sew your fabric right on the edge of those sticky notes. And that will give you your 1/4 inch seam allowance. Or you can mark it with painter's tape or masking tape, something like that. So there's lots and lots of different ways to get that 1/4 inch seam just perfect and not have to break the bank for it. But if you want one of those specialty tools, they're really fun too. So I'm going to switch out my walking foot here. With this foot. And this foot has a guide on it. Oops. It has a guide right here. This bar, the fabric just rests right against that. So as you're sewing, you get that 1/4 inch seam just perfect. And it's so handy to use because you don't have to tape anything to your machine. You can just snap it on. Now this attachment, I believe, is good for a brother machine or a baby lock machine. I'm not sure if it attaches to every machine. I'm not sure if it's universal. Actually, I think it did work on my friend's machine, and she has a Singer. So it just depends on how your shank here will, or the ankle of your machine is going to fit on that foot. So you would just put your foot down on your fabric and line up the raw edges with this guide, and then just sew all the way through your fabric, keeping that raw edge against that guide. Pretty easy, right? Okay. And there's your perfect seam allowance with a 1/4 inch foot. Now there's one more new product out there that we've just come across that I love. It is diagonal seam tape, and it works the same way as the Seam So Easy, but it's tape, like washi tape. And so you would just peel it off, line up that center red line with your needle, or if you have any markings on your machine, you can use those markings as well. And I just get it right up there. And you can tape it as far down as you need to on your machine. So say you're doing some really big blocks and you want to do some diagonal quilting on there. That way you can get a really long line with your quilting. So it works the exact same way. You just line up your fabric with that 1/4 inch line. Oops, my needle is up. There we go. And then you would just keep the raw edges of your block right on that 1/4 inch line, sewing all the way through. Now you do have to be careful that you have that lined up correctly. So that's the only hard part, is getting this lined up. The Seam So Easy guide is a lot easier to line up than the tape, because the tape's a little, wiggly, and this is a little bit more stiff where you can just set it on your machine bed and get it taped down. But this is a great way to get your diagonal seams as well. So you just put the corner of your block on that straight line and be able to sew it down. Okay, so lots of different techniques for getting your seam at a 1/4 inch, and being able to use all these fun different products and tools and stuff. We do carry this diagonal seam tape in our shop as well. So go check that out at journeybackquilts.com and then click store, and you'll be able to see all the different products that we have available. All right. Well, do we have any questions or anything? You can leave those in the comment box below, and I would love to connect with you. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining me. A couple announcements. We do have some spots left for long arming for the rest of the year. I believe we just have about 10 to 12 or so, and we'll be doing a fun promo here coming up for those. So stay tuned for that, and we'll get you emailed that promo. So if you're not on our email list, go now to journeybackquilts.com. There's a link in the description box, and you can put your email address in our subscription type thing so that we can connect with you. And our academy is open right now. This academy is called Your Quilting Journey Academy, and it's all about your quilting journey. So wherever you are, if you're a very beginner or you are an advanced quilter, we would love for you to join us in this academy, because we can all use each other's help to grow within our own quilting journeys and make progress. So this 1/4, we're focusing on our UFOs and getting those all wrapped up and finished before the end of the year, so we can start the new year with a fresh, clean slate and be able to dive into new techniques and fun things in January. So if you're needing some help getting your UFOs finished, or you just need some encouragement or different tips and tricks to finishing these quickly and easily, I would love for you to join our academy. It's open now until October 31st. You can click the description link in the box and learn more. Within the academy, you get tons of tutorial videos. So think of this as a buffet of tutorials to help you within your journey. They're all nicely organized for you, though, so that wherever you are within your journey, you can just start there and keep going forward. But say you're in the middle of a quilt and you need help finishing it with the long arming or the free motion quilting or doing something like that, the basting and the binding and all those kinds of things. And then you'll have your finished quilt. But how do you get it finished? Well, we have those videos within our academy to help you walk you through all those different techniques so you can finish a quilt that you'll be proud of. So within those 5 stages, we have the beginner stage, which we call the explorer stage. That's where we're going to teach you how to set up your sewing machine, how to use a rotary cutter, the rulers, and the ironing, all the different things that you might need to know as a beginner. The second stage is the adventurer stage. There we talk about how to make half square triangles and how to make flying geese blocks and how to make all the different foundational techniques to quilting that you might need to know. And you get my exclusive pattern for the Carol Ann's Garden quilt table runner. It's a mouthful, but you get that exclusive pattern there that you can make that table runner and learn all those different techniques and then combine them to make this really cute, unique table runner. And then the third stage is the sojourner stage. So that helps you dive in even deeper with these different techniques of how to make those half square triangles 8 at a time or 4 at a time or 32 at a time instead of just 1 at a time. And then it also goes over the math of how to figure out how to buy enough fabric for your binding and how to get that cut out and how that all works. And we even touch on how to do some designing for yourself. So you can do your own kind of quilt for yourself. You can design your own and make it very unique. And then, like I said, traveler stage is where you learn the basting and the binding and the quilting and all those kinds of fun finishing techniques. And the fifth stage is the champion stage, where you're going to learn how to take care of your quilt, hang it, photograph it, all those kinds of things. We'll be getting in that stage here soon. So yeah, we're really excited to have this open right now. We're only open every quarter, so we won't open again until January. So this is a great time to jump in and we'll be able to help you out. We do also have private Facebook Q&As within this group. So if you ever have a question or you get stuck on your journey and you need some extra help and support, that support will be there for you. We do have a private community page where you can connect with other quilters just like you so that you can show off your work, ask for help, get people's opinions, all those kinds of fun things. It's such a fun group to be able to play with each other with our quilting journeys. And then we do occasionally have a Zoom call where we'll meet up and we can chat together and show each other our projects or ask for help or just connect with other quilters face to face. So lots of fun things going on within this academy, and you get 10% off quilting services and products and fabric and all those things. So it's definitely worth the price. So I hope that you'll go check out that link that's in the description box and let me know if you have any questions. So thanks so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Bye.